Today's setup is a little bit different. This is not a planned video. I just really want to have a little heart-to-heart conversation. I hope this can be a safe space for me. I used to do this in my podcast. If you're new to this channel, I also have a podcast called Lee's Alchemy, where I used to a lot of the times pour out my heart and my emotions, and we just have conversations and find solace. And I would basically try to figure life out at the same time as you know. But I feel like the past year, just my whole way of content creation has kind of shifted, and I was reflecting upon it today, and I realized that it also has to do with my way of processing my own emotions. I've been really afraid to share my emotions, to be honest, because I've been going through a lot when it comes to learning new things about love, and it's actually a topic that I've been researching over the past year and a half, almost 2 years. And that I'm still working on. So this might still come up in the future. I don't know how long it's going to take because there's a lot of things to go through. But today I want to share something that has been, bothering me, something that maybe it would help to talk about. And maybe you could find some interesting points in it, or we can learn together through whatever I'm bringing up today. I don't have all the answers. I never want to seem like I do. And I realized that in my last videos, like the past 5 to 6 videos since like April, March, I've been so analytical in my videos and really trying to explain everything and trying to find rational solutions, up to the point that even I get confused sometimes. But my content didn't used to always be like that. A lot of the time it was really just talking from my heart space and sharing my feelings and being really vulnerable. And I've been quite honestly pretty afraid of being vulnerable because I've been wanting love so badly. I have been open to it in a way that I hadn't really been in a long time. Didn't really know what I wanted before, had been hurt, still had a lot of things to heal, and a year ago I was like, cool, I'm ready. God was like, I bet we're gonna put you in the next phases to see if you're actually ready. I don't think it's a test. I think it was more a reflection of myself, things that I still had to see of myself, still had to go through, still had to understand about my way of processing my emotions, of understanding love, other people's emotions. And, sometimes we want things, but we're not giving it because we're not prepared for it. Maybe if we receive it, it will not be what we want it to be, or we might ruin something that's really good. So everything happens in divine timing, and that's why I'm also really trying to see everything from a point of view that's letting go of control and trusting God, and also knowing that everything that happens in a way that is for your best interest. But at some point it gets very tiring because I'm just like, why am I not getting love? And the thing is, because love is also something, everyone says it, right? You have to love yourself first. And I do agree with that so much. Like, it's going to be so beneficial and so much more healthy to stand on your own 2 feet in a relationship and to really prioritize yourself, because when you love yourself first, you're able to raise the bar very high and really attract a kind of love that's going to push you forward instead of repress you, right? And if that's really something you're striving to, really trust that if God is not giving you love, it's because He's still working on you. He's still molding you. He's still preparing you to be the person that He wants you to be the person that He knows can receive the type of love, and not only receive it, but also keep it and nourish it and withstand trial and error. Because, I think this is probably what I've been noticing the past year. Honestly, it's been something that I've been going through for a year now, but I haven't really talked about it because it felt too fragile, and some things you just have to go through, you have to understand first before talking about it. It's just the fact that every time that I opened my heart, I got so hurt. I forgot how painful it is to be in love. I forgot how painful, wait, how can I explain this? Let me reiterate. So I do believe that love is kind of the source of all the foundations. I feel like love is everything. And when we open our hearts up to love, we're also opening our hearts up to feeling all the other emotions, but times astronomical, times 1,000. And I thought I was ready for the love. I was ready to receive that, but I had forgotten how much pain comes with that, how much sacrifice comes with that, how much you have to put water in your wine. You have to be able to be compassionate, see things from another person's perspective. You have to let go of that. It's all about me. It's all about love for myself. Because maybe you just also come out of a period where you just really had to get yourself out of a rut. You had to put yourself first. Maybe you're just like me and you always were a people pleaser and you wanted to set people before you and you always wanted to do what's right for others. And maybe you neglected yourself before. That's definitely what I was. And I come from a period in life where I just learned that you have to stand up for yourself and you have to love yourself first in order to have the kind of love and everything. But like I said, everything in life is a double-edged sword. And when you get to one side of the spectrum, you're going to have to get back on the other to find like a balanced middle ground until, I feel like life goes back and forth all the time, but not only back and forth because this is like 2D. I think it actually, if you see it in 3D, we actually go in circles and at the same time we even move up. Anyways, it's just a representation. But I don't know, for some people it's gonna make sense, for others it's not. Anyways, we're always learning kind of the same thing, but it's never the same thing. It's always in a different place in our lives, so it always deepens our understanding, broadens our way of seeing the world. But I completely lost my train of thought and I don't remember what I was going to say. Oh yeah, so I was just talking about that I just came out of a period where I had to put myself forward. And I guess going through this season of isolation and this season of having to heal and to grow, it also breeds in a lot of fear. You might think, okay, I'm ready to love, but are you really ready? Because now I have to allow myself to open up, allow someone else to come back into my space, when for such a long time it's just been me, myself, and I got really comfortable by myself, And in theory, it all sounds so easy, but it's been put to the test for me for 12 months already. And it's only, I knew it, It's one thing to know it. I understand it. And it's something that I understood from the beginning. But every time I understood, I thought, okay, I get it. We can move on now. I'm ready. God, I got it. I said it out loud. I understand what you're doing. I understand what still has to be worked on. So I'm ready. But life showed me no. It's not because you understand something in your mind. It's not because theoretically something makes sense and you're able to see things for what they are, that you're actually able to put them into practice. And now we're entering a space where, maybe your heart is being molded to open up every single time again. Because how can I say this? I feel like the past 12 months, every single month I went through like a cycle. You can literally feel it every single month. I'm going through the same thing. I'm going through the same thing. I'm going through the same thing. Am I going through this again? Is it still going to be the same outcome? Like, I'm getting tired of feeling the same thing. And I start to wonder, like, what am I doing wrong? At some point, it almost makes me feel like I'm not good enough, or especially at the start, I just started to doubt myself a lot. And, I felt like I wasn't, I don't know. Anyways, all that to say is that it's very scary to open up your heart. And I feel like in the society today, we also talk so much about detaching and letting go and running away from our feelings and bossing up. And, women chase their careers every time they're not. And I feel like also, especially for women, but also for men. Actually, I also see this for men. This is more in like the hustle culture mindset, where it's like love and career cannot be mixed. You cannot have one and the other. And every time I would get disappointed, every time I would open my heart, would allow the feelings of love and would be like, you know what, I give up, I admit it, I love this person. I'm just, every time that I would admit that, I would always be faced with disappointment again. And every time I felt like, yeah, I'm just delusional for thinking that I can have this life where I can build myself up, I can grow in my career, I can be successful while at the same time having a person by my side. I just feel like it's being shown in our face so much, also in media, that once you have a relationship, you just have to settle down and it's done for you, or it's a distraction for, getting to the place you want to get, and like, ignore all men, like, focus on the grind, all of that. But I don't believe in that. And that just the thought that I would have to first wait until I'm successful to find the right man, or for a relationship to manifest in my life, would make me so sad. That would make me so sad, because I already want it now. Like, I don't know why am I not successful enough right now? And I feel like simultaneously it kind of promotes the idea that you're not good enough yet. Because it's the idea of a destination. It's the idea of you have to get to a certain point before you're ready. So you're telling yourself that right now, you're not ready, you're not good enough. And I just do not agree with that way of thinking. But it's very, very hard to let go of that way of thinking, because I found myself back into that every single time that I felt a little disappointment. It's so weird and it's so confusing. And I had absolutely forgotten how painful it was to love and to desire. And especially in a world where not everything that we feel is going to be reciprocated, and circumstance is not always going to allow things to go the way we want. But it's the courage to still open your heart and to still admit yourself that it's not because someone is not the way you want them to be. It's not that something is not exactly the way you want it to be, or yeah, that's exactly the thing. It's not because someone or something is not the way that you want it to be that you shouldn't love it, or that you shouldn't admit or allow yourself to love it. Because if we do not allow ourselves to love at that point, how is the love going to come in when it is meant to be? When that person is right? Sometimes the love has to precede the situation being right. How is love going to enter into your life if you don't even allow it into your heart because you're afraid of the hurt? Because we base our hurt on imperfection. We base our hurt on mistakes. We base our hurt on circumstance. We get hurt because things do not go the way we want them to. We get hurt because life just is not always smooth sailing, but that's also part of life. And loving someone unconditionally doesn't mean you have to put up with their shit, but creating stories that try to make your mind feel like you're right for not loving a person because this or this situation, or because this circumstance, or because the person does this or doesn't do this, or talks like this, or wears this, or whatever, There's so many things that we look at objectively that we try to understand. We try to rationalize love, basically. And that is just something that has really bit me in the ass. And now I'm just gonna, hopefully, because I say this now, and I hope the fact that I'm finally able to talk about this, that it means that I've actually integrated the lesson, the knowledge after a year. Please, please, allow yourself to love, man. I know it's so scary, but if you don't open up your heart, and if you're not honest with yourself, if you're not gonna look yourself in the mirror and really realize that the pain you feel, that thing you miss, that thing you try to ignore and push in the corner because reason A, B, C, D, you can name so many reasons. You can invent a new reason every single day if you want. But if you're going to be truthful with yourself, you're going to see that you maybe want love, that maybe you have those feelings, but you deny yourself those feelings because you have these rational ideas that prevent you from maybe accepting those feelings, or maybe telling you that those feelings will lead you to somewhere, that they're valid. Love is the most beautiful feeling, and it's the source. And if you want to attract that love, you have to be open for it, no matter what the circumstances are, no matter what stories you tell yourself. Doesn't mean that the outcome is going to be exactly what you want. Don't do something just because you expect something in return. Don't love now because you expect God to give you that love back immediately. Though a lot of times it does work like that. But when we do that with certain expectations, it's like we're already setting ourselves up for failure. Because we're already telling ourselves, yeah, I love, but it's because I want your love back. But that real love that we're seeking for, a lot of the time it's unconditional. It cares for us. It's compassionate. It's empathetic, and it loves us despite our shadow, despite our bad days, even the days that we're not able to show up for someone and they still love us. Isn't that the kind of love that we want? The love that's gracious, that's patient. I think so. At least for me. I don't know what you think, but yeah. Anyways, thank you so much for listening to this episode. Let me know if you like me opening up like that. It's been a long time. This feels like an ancient dream memory. I don't know, like something I used to do way back in the day, but it's not even that long ago. But okay, time for new doors to open, times for new adventures, and don't deny yourself what you know somewhere deep down you want, and it will find you. It was your girl Lean, and remember, you are love, you are light, and you are loved. Amen.